Hello and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to work once again with some soap clay or soap dough. This is a essentially almost pre-made mix where you just add a little bit hot water and oil. Funnily enough, the oil is only mentioned in the German instructions, but I did this last time too and it actually worked really well, so I'm using almond oil here. And you then add these soap shavings, and this will create a dough-like consistency that you can color and mold. And I did this before. It is like not easy to get any details and make things like look perfect and cute, but it is actually a very good soap base. Like, I've been using it pretty frequently with my previous batch, and it worked super well. It lathered up nicely and it left a pretty smooth feeling to my fingers. Last time I used sunflower oil, this time I chose almond oil just because it's like a little bit better for your skin. And because I had it, so why not? So all you do is essentially mix the shavings, and the hot water is dissolving them and like making them moldable, and you can knead it to like get it fairly smooth, but there's still a graininess that definitely sticks around like almost permanently. Like, no matter how much you knead it, you kind of cannot get that out. But that's fine. This is literally just for fun and, you know, having something functional, which I'm always a fan of if a craft is actually functional and usable in the end. So my first part or theme that I wanted to make here is water animal theme, or water themed in general. And the kit in the original one came with this fish cookie cutter. And last time I used it and it worked well, but this time I wanted to change it up a little. I wanted to have a little fun with it because I had the idea that, you know, why not? I can add like a fishbone situation. Like, when you use the soap up and you're getting close to the end, you actually will have the fish bones poking out. And this worked surprisingly well. I used my silicone shaper here, and I definitely would suggest using gloss. This stuff definitely sticks a lot, and when you freshly add the color, it actually may stain. Fair warning, it is like, I think, food coloring, or at least water-based soap coloring, and it definitely does stain when you get it directly onto something. So if you have like white fabric or something and you drop something on there, food coloring wise or like coloring wise, it will definitely permanently stain. I did have like a white tissue there and it definitely got stained. It's fine. It wasn't really like a thing that was any issue, but like, definitely be very careful with that. But yeah, for my second one I used the rest of the blue, and I wanted to make like an oceanic theme, and I first thought, hey, why don't I add corals or something, but then I felt a sea star would be more fitting, so I started to add like a blob and shaped it into a sea star. And I also added these like wave ripples, and this worked actually super well, and I think it looks super cute. Cross-contamination is a thing. Yes, you could totally wash your gloves in between batches, but this soap clay or soap modeling mass actually dries fairly quickly, or like gets harder fairly quickly, so you can't work with it too well. So I choose not to this time. Plus it's summer right now, so it dries even quicker. I would definitely suggest doing this in winter, and my second try is actually a very good testament to why. But you guys will see that later, so for now let's stick with this. I wanted to make some larger soaps too, just because, why not? So I made a larger sea star as I really like the small one, and I tried to like mix and match colors. The only colors you get are technically not quite primary, but they're blue, yellow and red, which is totally enough to get a variety of colors. But in this case, like, when you add it to like a larger batch, you definitely need to add a little bit of color, knead it in, add the next bit of color, because, you know, the color will get everywhere and like stain everything, and it may actually squish out. You need to be careful. Like, I had it like a tiny bit luckily on my tray, but sometimes when you fold it in and you squeeze it too much, like the color can burst out if you have too much, which obviously is not ideal. But yeah, I guess I should add a trypophobia warning here, but I added some like tiny like dots to the sea star to give it more texture. And then I wanted to make a cute little seal. I should have definitely done that first, but you know, my ideas kind of came as I made these things, so yeah, the white is definitely not as white anymore, but to be fair, seals have spots. Maybe not as colorful, but you know, they do. So I made like a really chunky seal, super cute, and then I wanted to add eyes and a little nose. So I tried to mix black, but the colors aren't pure like yellow, magenta, cyan, so it turned out more like brownishy. But I think it still works for eyes. It just was a little bit, you know, grey brown, which is totally fine. But yeah, I added like little dots for the eyes and then a little triangle for the nose. It looks chunky. It definitely doesn't look the way that I hoped it would, but that's fine. You do lose a lot of control the longer you work with it. And even in the beginning, it's like hard because it's super sticky. But yeah, lastly, I wanted to make a cute little octopus. I decided to ditch the eyes, so I just mixed the rest of the dark color in with this like reddish color that I made. But I wanted to at least get this like cute tentacle shape. The reason why I decided to ditch the color was because I felt like the eyes on the seal already looked very wonky, so you know, why not just make a cute one that doesn't have any facial feature. Now, molding the little like fish shape definitely is tough. You want to work slow, and maybe while it's still a little bit soft, that always worked decently well for me. But yeah, here you can see like the undersides are still wet. And this is after 3 days. You definitely want to turn them around and leave them for at least 2-3 weeks. They say 3 days, but that is assuming that you don't make these chunky things, I guess. But yeah, I just left it out and moved on to the next batch, which was flower themed, or supposed to be. Now, on this day, it was just a tiny bit hotter than on the last one, so I was like, oh, it's surely gonna be fine. It was like 2 degrees Celsius hotter. It was not. I actually used a tiny bit more hot water to try and combat things, and in the beginning it worked pretty well. It took me a little while to mix the colors though, so that may have been an issue. Like with the last one, I worked in batches and like first added the color like right before I wanted to use it. In this one I pre-mixed everything because I thought it was easier, which in theory is right, but you can already tell by mixing this blue, it's starting to crumble and it's not as soft anymore. Like I'm putting a fair bit of force behind it, so I was already a bit worried that this wouldn't stick and wouldn't work, but I proceeded to just try. Definitely should have washed my gloves here. I was debating too, but I felt the sense of urgency that the clay wasn't sticking anymore, and you can definitely see it. Like when I added these parts in the previous one, like to the sea star, they bonded. When I added it to this yellow flower thing, they did not bond at all. But I wanted to try more, so I tried a different yellow flower, and for this one, I don't know, it didn't look right, so I wanted to try one where I layered the petals in the end. Which, yeah, for some reason, it really didn't bond anymore. Like, you could still shape it, but I struggled so much to get it bonding. So I split this up and tried to make a layered look and then maybe, like, blend things in with my silicone shaper. And I really tried. This is also the last of my soap dough, by the way. I really tried. Nothing wanted to bond anymore. And I wasn't sure if I could even add water, because like from my experience last time when I tried it, it got like more sooty than actually dewy. So I didn't want to risk that, so I just bit the bullet, broke up all my colors, and I'm going to make like little disc size or puck size like soaps that are just, I guess, a little bit more colorful. So I broke these up and smushed them, and yeah. At this point, I was definitely sad that I didn't get to make my flowers, but at least I had my ocean-themed badge, so that was good. But yeah, definitely not a craft for hotter days. And yeah, whatever. These work totally fine. They're nice and colorful. I made sure to shape the edges. But yeah, really smushing them together and like working them a lot did work. I definitely needed to use a lot more force though. I would not have been able to do that with the flowers. Anyways, here is the final result. Here you can see all my creations. Obviously, I have not used the fish soap yet, so I can't tell you guys if the inside like part worked. I may update you guys in the future, I just don't know when that will be. But yeah, I think honestly my favorite are probably the fish and the sea star. I also really like the octopus, but I feel like it lacks something shape-wise. Then again, the dough was also drying there, so I struggled a little bit too. The sea is definitely cute, but I feel like the eyes look a little bit haunting. I'm not even mad at the like color smudges that I got. I think those look cute. I just think it's the eyes that throw me off a little bit. I don't know. Maybe if I had added like a little bit white back to add like white highlights or something, but it's too late. To be fair, they're very shallow, so they will wash off pretty much immediately, but whatever. It's still cute. And then, you know, the colorfulness, they're whatever. I think the colors are nice, but yeah, very sad that I couldn't get what I wanted. But I guess that happens in crafting sometimes, and you know, at least they're still usable. But let me know in the comments down below what you think of these. Obviously, they're not as detailed as I usually sculpt because just the medium. But it was a nice 2-hour or 3-hour activity, and the cleanup is easy, you know, you just have to wash your utensils. I would definitely recommend washing them after things are dry, because I found it just easier to remove the soap dough, but it definitely does work while it's still like soft and fresh. But yeah, let me know what kind of theme you would have chosen if you would have made these. And as always, I hope you have a great day. See you next time. Bye bye!